didn't make it up, I'll be damned. Because it says a bonding is the joining of two people, blah, 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 blah.
Well, obviously that's what bonding is. You have to bond before you can get married. You're so
No, I mean,
smart,
it says a
author.
bonding is the joining of two people that joins married couples together further when their verbal wedlock.
Oh, God.
It's where two people join together physically, mentally, spiritually, and sexually, of course, in a bond that cannot be broken. This kind of joining also helps prevent adultery somehow.
And I'm just like, why do I not buy that?
Alright, let's get started, shall we?
Okay.
The bonding, footnote 4, which Blue just was nice enough to describe for us. A week later, we mounted our horses and headed for the monastery. It took quite some time to reach.
So now the horses are involved in the bonding.
Yes.
Oh, God!
Since
Did you
when
really expect otherwise?
You already mounted opponent enough.
That's true. Then
That's just a regular part of their daily routine.
I mean, one of their horses already has a stripper name.
Yeah, the next logical step is to give the horse a name that ends in I and then another one that ends in like a triple X, like Cherry Tricks or something like that.
It took quite some time to reach it, since when we arrived at Gerudo village, the Gerudos insisted on us stopping to chat.
Oh, so they're so gregarious as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We had an afternoon meal there, then resumed our way towards the monastery. After another
Took a while for the poison to start working.
After another short ride, we arrived at the monastery. Then we reached the gate. When we reached the gate, a group of monks was there to greet us. After we dismounted, a monk. I'm sorry, the way that's phrased, I could easily.
A need for commas.
What commas? Punctuation? You mean there's such a thing?
I don't see a need for. Oh wait. Oh, I see.
Well, otherwise you could read that as after we dismounted, a monk came.
I see.
We were taken inside the chamber where the... Wait, I skipped a whole line. Dismounted, a monk came and took our horses to the stable. I had no idea they were expecting us, but Link told me later that he had set it up a few days before. How?
Without asking me.
You know, also, this is yet another case where it would have been nice to find this out through the story if you're going to bring it up at all, instead of just giving a throwaway explanation for it that is just completely ridiculous to begin with, but just a throwaway explanation for it, rather than developing the characters or their dialogue or any part of the setting. You're just telling us and then it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that could have been developed by that goes bye-bye.
We were taken inside to a chamber where the head of the monastery was waiting for us. First, we were asked a few questions, then he explained the steps of the ceremony to us.
What questions?
Yeah, it's not like they're important. The sooner they get that out of the way, the faster they can get to the fucking.
Yes.
Yep.
Then he had two monks bring a bowl with an oily liquid in it.
But not oil.
Yes. The head monk took his thumbs, dipped it in the liquid. Wait.
Stuck it right up his ass.
Oh, his thumb, not thumb. Dipped it in the liquid, stuck it up his ass, and smeared it on our forehead while he chanted. Then he said that the ceremony was to be performed outside, but that it was to be performed in the nude.
Of course.
A bunch of monks in the background then began taking out their cameras.
Well, also...
Stop spying on me, you sicko pervs!
Does this, is this particular ceremony, does it really require the leader of the monastery, the head of the monastery? Doesn't he have other things to do? Couldn't they just get one of the other monks to do it? Why are we constantly capitalizing monastery?
The freaking king of Hyrule is already bending to this girl. Do you expect anything less?
Seriously. I just really wish that authors would understand that just because they are the main character in their own life story, as one has said, that doesn't necessarily mean that every important person in the world is going to make time to see you. Like, seriously, why does it always have to be the leader or the head or the king or the... You're not that important to everyone. You may be important to some people, but these aren't even related people. They're probably not even Hylians. They're just some monastery way in bumfuck nowhere. Why did they care? How does Link even know them? Things that it would have been nice to know.
I guess he traveled all over the place when he was, went 7 years in the future to fight Ganon.
Yeah, and he found out about the pagan monks that do nude commitment ceremonies because he was thinking about getting married even when he was supposed to be saving the freaking world.
Really?
Because he had a lot of time to think about that.
Yeah, obviously. Ample time.
Beliefs were... an oddly spaced comma. Everything is born from the earth, and when you die, you go back to the earth. And since the ceremony was to be preformed under the witness of Mother Earth, we had to remove our clothes. Why? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any...
that's not a belief.
Shakiest explanation ever.
That's not really a belief exactly. What? I don't understand. You have more to a belief system than when stuff dies, it gets recycled into the earth.
Yeah.
That doesn't even explain the whole nudity thing, really.
I mean, this is a very pat explanation to try and justify the fact that they were going to be doing this nude ceremony. They could just say that it's part of their beliefs and not try and explain it in such a shitty way.
Well, this author is going so far out of her way to, like, try to, make everything seem like this, super neo-pagan thing, going out of her way.
This isn't even neo-pagan.
No,
At
it's
least
just...
the neo-pagans have the decency to be going, okay, yeah, when we take off our clothes, we might call it Skyclad or whatever.
Believe me, when I was in high school, which I'm betting dollars to donuts that's around the age group of the author.
I want to say middle school.
The people that I knew in my school who, proclaimed to be pagan, quote unquote, how the author is describing stuff is exactly how they talked.
That is a shame.
That was like the thing for that group of people. And it's just being shoehorned into this story.
Well, I've done a lot of research into religion, comparative religion, spirituality, history, and I do a lot of reading. I think it's fascinating to look at religion and spiritual beliefs and everything. And in my opinion, everybody has their own spiritual path, and everybody, sort of sees things from their own perspective and has to put together their own relationship with the divine, whatever they may think or not. But yeah, it's sort of like, if you actually even just took one more step, you could be like, well, they believed that, it was essential that we be unclothed because that is how we are born, and it allows us to commune uninterrupted with the energies of the earth around us. That would have been okay. But this is half-assery. Yeah. This is dumb fuckery.
This is just an excuse so that later we can have sex.
Exactly. It's just an excuse to be naked.
And really, that is more insulting and more disgracing to any of these legitimate beliefs than if you had even just tried a little bit and said, like what I had just said. At least it would have seemed like it made sense instead of just being a transparent excuse to get people naked.
Shit and actually put some fucking thought into it.
Yeah. Instead of, well, they asked us some questions, but I'm not going to think of what questions because that would require me to actually think of something rather than just getting into what is going to get me off by writing about it.
All things considered, if they really even needed a sex scene, didn't they already have a perfect, well, for lack of a better word, set up for one with the whole bullshit explanation of, oh, making love will make the baby stronger or whatever?
Yeah, miraculously, they haven't actually done like a marathon fucking session.
I
like
know,
first-
right?
Exactly.
It's a little strange, actually.
It was a bit too convenient of a setup.
Yeah.
Had to remove our clothes. I shot Link a worried look. Why?
Too bad it
But he
didn't just
gave-
end at a shot Link.
Shot
Misery,
right
please.
between the eyes.
A worried look, but he gave me a reassuring smile, and that made me feel better. Why would he be reassuring? Why is he suddenly okay with this? Are the Kokiri just nudists? Did we not know this? Did he grow up in a nudist society? That would be more interesting than this story. We seem to be coming back to that. That would be more interesting because it would actually show
Just about
somebody gave
everything.
enough of a
Yep.
fuck to develop the setting enough. After we removed our clothes, you know what? There's such a fascination with nudity in this story, yet there's no eroticism about removing the clothes.
No.
They're just like
Yeah, it's
two.
just
What
Two
eroticism?
flips and
What
we're
plot
nude.
development? We're just going from one thing to the next and writing as blandly and boringly as we possibly can.
Like, I mean, obviously Jenna is getting off at some point writing this stuff, but it's, I mean, maybe she has this context. It's sort of like having a fantasy and only you see the whole thing, but you're giving other people just enough to see parts of it. And maybe it is brilliant from where you're seeing it from, but you're not actually sharing enough of it to make it seem anything but shit to everybody else. I mean, it's like telling a joke and leaving out the punchline.
right.
Yeah, pretty
Or
much.
telling a punchline and leaving out the joke, more like.
Ah, yeah.
After we removed our clothes, we were led to a beautiful garden. Of course, it's beautiful because it's going to be the most beautiful garden you've ever seen. Because
Right.
With an oak tree in the middle.
Oh, so it's the Great Deku Tree again. You're just chilling there. Hey, I came all the way out here just for this
guys.
scene.
By the way, I'm the
Hey,
reaping
girls.
tree, so, yeah.
Grab your ankles, boys and girls.
Oh, God, why?
I think this ceremony's gonna give me a Woody.
Oh! Oh, you said that.
You are punished, sir.
I felt a wave of... I'm expecting nausea, but I know it won't be. I felt a wave of, calm. Disappointing.
Of course
As we
you'd be
walked-
calm after being nervous for... What the fuck?
Yeah, of course you'd be calm, being, pregnant and constantly nauseous and dizzy.
And being,
Sick.
like, in front of a bunch of, like monks
people you
that probably
don't
aren't
know
even
that
monks.
Yeah.
They're probably just, like, random people who, like, just advertise this because they get off of this sort of shit. Like, they get off just saying
Probably
random...
so. And what's really distressing about this is that, like, a lot of people, a lot of women when they're pregnant have serious self-image issues because their body is basically just changing so much, and a lot of pregnant women do not feel attractive, feel comfortable being naked around people, especially people they don't know.
Yeah.
As we walked further into the garden, we were led to the oak tree. We were led to the oak tree and told to kneel down in front of each other.
Wait, they went into the oak tree? Or is it the other way around?
No, just to the oak tree, I guess. I hope. Maybe they were in it. Originally, the Deku tree had a boss in him, but I don't know. That would be too exciting for this story.
Yeah.
After we knelt down facing each other, the head monk said he would explain each step of the rituals as we went. First, 2 goblets were brought to us with liquid in them. Next,
We
one
don't know
of the
what
monks...
kind of liquid. It was just some liquid.
Some
I
liquid.
guess the monks had jerked off into it, and we were expected to drink it, like in that one story Caleb and Hushcho read.
Oh god. Maybe they made a whole pond of it.
That you had to
The
swim
alligator
through, or you drowned, or you got raped
allig-
by alligator men.
Yeah. Get raped by alligator men and yet finish the race anyway, regardless.
This sounds like a perverted version of Saw.
It's,
Well, that's how Paint the Town ended, so...
Oh.
Yeah. Listen to Paint the Town. You will laugh, you will
haven't
cry,
seen that
you
one.
will rage.
I haven't seen that one.
It.
Sorry.
In a way, that's that should be sort of like the tagline for our program show. You will laugh, you will cry, you will rage.
Okay.
Next, next one of the monks brought a ruby. I guess
Next
it's a
one of the
person.
monks, not the next monk.
It's
Come
the Goron
on.
Ruby, just for her.
A ruby who, as a person, because it was capitalized, held his dagger, also oddly capitalized, and handed it to Link.
Free yourself,
it-
Link!
Yeah, I was going to say, plunged it into my chest
Slit
repeatedly.
wrists, bloody tears were going down your feces.
But she ran into it, he said. She ran into it 20 times.
Yes.
And the monks will back him up because they could see through her foul, evil magic that she was really a horrible witch thing. I forgot what they're
It's
called.
the curse of the Sioux Witch.
No one would ever convict him. I spit on your fanfiction. Handed it to Link. Then the head monk explained to us that we each had to cut our palms. And couldn't you just prick your finger
I know, right?
and drop some blood
It's a
into...
Klingon ceremony now, apparently.
Like, seriously, if you cut your palms, do you not realize how long that is going to take to heal? You could cut any other part of yourself, produce more blood, and not wound yourself. And keep in mind that, yes, this is Hyrule, and maybe they have healers and fairies and everything, but there is a real possibility for dangerous infection, scarring, and even just terrible things by cutting your palm.
Yeah.
Well, as you just said, fairies. Actually, speaking of which...
Yeah, speaking of which, where the hell are their fairies?
Actually, now that I think about it, you hadn't... Even in the canon game, you had Navi the entire time. Why the hell didn't that bitch heal you?
That is
there are
a
only
good question.
Maybe there are only some kinds that heal, but she's called a guardian fairy, so you'd think that she could do that.
She could at least cast some sort of armor spell on you if she's a guardian.
Maybe maybe it was just the
I
fairies
secretly
that were
hate
at the-
you, Link. That's why I torture you constantly by talking insistently.
Maybe it was only that the servants of the Great Fairy have healing powers, and the Deku Tree's fairies are just there for advice. I don't know.
Companionship.
They're plot device fairies.
Operating machinery like doors and levers and things, and targeting. Her palms drop some blood into the goblets in front if us. If us.
Yes.
In front if us. An uneasy feeling washed over me, as it would anybody with any sense.
Yeah, I know,
But-
right?
Like, at this point, I'd be like, okay, I played along with the whole naked thing, and I'm not sure about the whole bloodletting thing. I'm really not
Really?
feeling this.
Really?
Like, maybe they should have done some actual research into this before committing to it.
I know, right?
How would they do research?
By going there and asking what the ritual would entail.
Yeah.
Well, didn't
Well,
they say
then-
it was secret earlier?
Did they?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't remember them saying it was secret, but either way, Link apparently knew these people, so he should know.
Oh, good point.
He was giving her a reassuring smile about the nudity, so he obviously either knew about that or was inexplicably okay with it instantly.
Yes.
So you have to sort of wonder.
And I fear that he was, in fact, just inexplicably okay with it.
This is all actually like a prank he set up.
Punked with Link. An uneasy feeling washed over me.
This is basically just his divorce. This is actually the ancient divorce ceremony that we're going through right now. That's what I'm thinking this actually is.
The next chapter, I find Edward Elric.
And ruined his life.
Lord.
Well, you know, he's already had his life pretty much gone to shit.
Yeah.
So, how much worse can it get with Jenna? No, wait, don't say that, because it can get worse. It's
It
Jenna.
always can, yeah.
I totally forget about trying to fix the shit I fucked up by marrying this woman, because she's all that matters now, and I must give her kid after kid. Fuck my brother, and fuck my mother, and fuck Roy Mustang, and all those people.
Oh, she probably does.
Exactly.
Cutting my hand was not one thing I wanted to do.
No
because,
shit.
yeah, everybody has, you know, on my bucket list of things to do, cutting my hand open is definitely one thing. Cutting my hand open while naked in front of a bunch of strangers while I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
I did that just last week. Don't know what you're talking about.
And I mean, this is like the worst possible time to be, and she is well in.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Couldn't they have waited until she gave birth and maybe was better for traveling? Because the Gerudo live in the desert, you know, and it's already hot. They've already said it's hot.
Or better yet, couldn't she have just gotten pregnant after doing the ceremony? Or even better, not done the ceremony at all?
Yeah.
Or
really.
maybe not gotten pregnant until she actually knew she was going to commit to this.
Exactly.
Rather than knowing someone for maybe five minutes before she's ready to produce children.
Yeah, just like, there's some good breeding stock. Come here, stud.
Let me brace myself against the wall and split my legs, and then just take me from behind as many times as you like. And then I'll pee on the stick and see if I'm pregnant or not.
Where'd I put my pee stick? Damn it. Fuck, now I have to wait 2 months for someone to tell me whether I'm pregnant.
But Link shot me a comforting glance.
Yeah, I don't think another comforting glance would be enough at that point.
Yeah, a comforting glance is a cheap boy. The monk explained why cutting our palms was necessary, which is a fact that apparently Jenna didn't feel it was important to share with us.
Apparently, yeah.
Then I watched as Link took the tip of the dagger and slit the palm of his left hand. You don't do it with the tip of the dagger.
With his left hand.
Oh, his left? Yes. Which is the left hand? Well, we'll never know. But I might also point out that Link, at least in the ones that weren't controlled by the Wiimote, he is left-handed.
He is, in fact, left-handed, yes.
Yeah, he is left-handed, so he has just basically crippled himself for an indefinite amount of time.
When he's supposed to be showing people swordsmanship. Did anybody get that?
So, about that whole leading the armies thing, oh, well, you know, we had to do this bizarre pagan ceremony.
Yep.
Clearly, this was more important.
I kind of want to know if these pagans are actually the enemies of the people they're fighting. That would be, like, the best twist ever. But
yeah, which means, of course, it's never going to happen.
Exactly.
We'll just file this into yet another story idea that's more interesting than the one we're reading.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Link then clenched his hand into the fist, and the blood slowly dripped into the goblet in front of him.
Sorceress needs food badly.
Yes.
Hawkeye shot the food.
I did not. Lies and slander.
Link.
It was the damn Valkyrie. It's always the Valkyrie who shoots the food.
Well, then who rode the horses into the campfire?
What? Then who was phone?
Link handed the dagger me. I
Never,
felt a
ever
little.
phrase something that way.
I felt a little scared as I held the dagger in my hand. When I looked back up at Link, he reassured me it was
If
off.
you need to keep being reassured this is fine, maybe you shouldn't fucking do it.
Yeah.
He reassured me it was okay. It's okay, honey. Like, you really didn't need to tell that again. It will only hurt for a second.
No,
Bullshit! Bullshit!
It won't.
Shit!
It will hurt for days, possibly weeks.
He
Oh my
then stabbed
God.
me. See? Only a second.
Seriously, I mean, it's like I don't even like having my finger lanced because it hurts like fuck. I mean, and slicing your palm open, that hurts. And you're
And
not
it
like
hurts.
just accidentally nicking yourself with a kitchen knife. You're deliberately slicing yourself open enough to have enough to drink, which, by the way, is enough to make me nauseous all on its own.
And you know, what's terrible about it is that the palm of your hand is a place that is flexed, moved, and used
Yeah.
constantly. It's like as if you had done like the center of any of your knuckle joints, the
Right.
underside of
I have
maybe your
done
thumb
that.
joint or something. You would constantly be pulling it open.
It's gonna not hurt for a moment. It's gonna hurt for days, and possibly more since you're pregnant. You know, your body's healing factor is sort of lessened because it's going between you and the baby. Which, anything you do to harm yourself is a terrible idea, especially when you're pregnant.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done.
You'll be Ock, my love. I'm here with you. I looked into his eyes and a glint of comfort shone in them. I nodded.
Stop saying that! Just stop it! Just quit! No! Stop!
She pretty much mentions his eyes repeatedly throughout this. I'm noticing that so much right now.
And they keep shining. Every time she mentions them, they shine. Whether it's in moonlight, in sunlight, in midday,
In
ambient
Twilight,
light.
and he turns
Yeah.
into a friggin' wolf.
No matter where, no matter what, his eyes constantly shine whenever she looks at them.
It's because, it's because of the reason that it's totally
Yeah.
reasonable.
I nodded and then took the dagger and proceeded to slaughter every single monk in the area. Okay, but
It's a
really.
great idea to give this woman a sharp object.
I know, right?
And placed the tip of it against the palm of my left hand.
Ugh.
Fortunately, I missed.
And I stabbed Link in the eye. I closed me eyes, and I
Alright, close me eyes.
closed me eyes.
Where's me spinach?
worse with I closed me eyes.
Oh. so
Those
now-
kids, they're always after me Lucky Charms. That was
Link
the
gets
worst
very-
I think I've ever done. I'm sorry.
That would be the best crossover fic ever. Link and the Lucky Charms.
Yes.
Not allowed to boil.
Writers.
Can you not speak? Is there something wrong with you? Did you hit your head?
I am writing that as a slash. Right. I'm totally doing that sometime.
Yes. Okay. I closed my eyes, and I made a wince. I didn't wince, but I made a wince.
What?
As the dagger cut my palm, ow. As I looked down at my hand, I saw blood seeping out of the
Well, that's
wound,
what
which
happens
is
when you
really
cut your
strange
hand.
because I expected to see hydraulic fluid, as I'm actually.
Well, like that milk stuff that they have in the Alien films.
No,
Yeah.
she's fueled by the blood of the innocent, so...
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Then I clenched my hand into a fist because it fucking hurt, and let the blood drip into the goblet for me. Link, you lying sack of shit, this hurts like hell.
It's still in pain.
After I did that, one of the monks took the dagger from me. He's like, yo, whoa, yeah, we don't trust you with this anymore.
Wise move there, monk.
Yeah.
Next, we were told to exchange the goblets and drink from them. Oh, God,
Why
gross.
would you do that? Why would you do that?
Gross.
Also, why would you do that without diluting it in wine or something? And like, couldn't it just be as fine if you just had a few drops from someone's tip of someone's finger or something? Why does it have to be so much blood and not diluted with anything? Most people cannot just drink pure blood.
And you're not supposed
He's
to.
a blood-sucking vampire.
The human body is not designed to digest blood.
Yes, that's right.
It's just not.
Well, maybe they're different. Well, to be fair, Link is a Hylian, so maybe he's not exactly human.
Well,
And we
but
don't know what Jenna is.
Jenna is
necessarily.
ostensibly a human.
Evil.
From
Exactly.
I'm not saying she ostensibly what is the case. Link took a drink from his first, then projectile vomited all over. Why did I think this was a good idea? My God, that's disgusting. It's a mixture of this oily liquid in your blood. Oh God, it's so viscous and salty.
I'm tasting metal.
So this is basically 2 lovers, 1 cup.
Yeah, basically. Oh God,
Well,
here.
2
pretty
Sues,
much.
1 cup.
And this was way before that whole thing.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Link took a drink
Internet
from
sensation
his
created by Zelda.
Miyamoto should be proud.
Just
For
A
all the
tragic
wonderful things she's
misunderstanding of
inspired.
Hylian
Stop
tradition.
and play the game over theme from the first Legend of Zelda. Link took a drink from his first, then I took a drink from mine. The strange liquid in the goblets made me feel different, made me feel connected to Link.
It's not
I'm
strange
pretty
liquid,
sure-
it's
I
blood,
think that's
idiot.
because he's actually boning you and you're just, like, not even paying attention.
What do you want to bet that there are some really strong narcotics in those goblets?
Which
I
are
would
not
imagine
good for the
so.
They're
baby.
probably
Whatever that
are.
mysterious liquid was.
It'll
Yeah.
explain that there pretty much is in the feet in just a little bit. Well, not directly, but there might as well be.
Made me feel different. Made me feel connected to Link. The monk then told us to take our hands with the wounds on them and clasp them together. Ow!
Oh.
Fucking, and that's a terrible fucking idea.
Oh my god. Can you not be symbolic? Do you people not know about symbolism? Just draw a red line on your palm or something. I don't know. Draw a penis on your forehead. Do something.
But you fucking ow!
Be satisfied with that. You know?
Oh, fuck. As our hands bonded, our blood meshed together. That's not how blood works. And blood doesn't mesh. It coagulates. And a connection between us was felt.
That's not a connection.
because
That's
you're,
heavy
like,
narcotics.
Insane pain from pressing your wounds together.
I think that's called commiserating or possibly schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah. I started to feel closer to him because you were touching him, Nimnal. I started to feel like he was inside me.
As I said.
Because he is! I closed my eyes again. Exact. I closed
Okay,
my
this is pretty solid proof that she's, like, copying and pasting certain things.
I closed my eyes and I heard Ling's voice inside my ears, inside my mind, but only faintly. I reached out for him, but nothing was there. It
He was
all
dead.
a dream. The
He was
end.
running. I could see his bare heavenly ass making for the horizon. As the
Because he
moon
saw what
reflected
was
on it.
actually in my mind, and it scared him shitless, and so he ran after dumping his load right there on the floor of the ground.
By jumping his load, you actually mean shitting his pants.
Yes.
Well, if he was wearing any.
Well, that's why I
I-
said.
Sorry, but I'm still just going about the whole cutting your own palm thing. That just
It's horrible.
like, it was bad enough. There was an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine where the only way for people to prove they weren't a shapeshifter was to let blood out. At the time, that was thought as like, well, this is the only way to prove, we are who we actually say we are. And the way they did it was the same thing. They drew this dagger across the palm of their hand, and I'm like, that is the stupidest. I mean, granted, they at least in that universe, they have dermal regenerators, so they can heal right away afterwards. But that's still fucking dumb, and it still makes me cringe.
Well, in this universe, they have
Even though they have them,
fairies
why
at the
couldn't
same
they just-
time, to be perfectly fair.
So in this universe, they'd crush a fairy in their hand to heal their palm, I guess.
That sounds awesome. Now we finally have a good use for Navi.
That's horrible. No.
I knew P10 was just going to be like, no.
Well, let's use Lily instead, then.
No. Let's use Jenna.
Yeah, well, but she's not going to heal shit.
Okay, I think we can all agree that the best fairy we can use in this argument is Link.
Anyway,
Good
I
squeeze.
then opened my eyes again. I'm so disappointed that she was able to do that.
Yeah, well.
Next, the head monk explained that to strengthen the bond further, we had to drink each other's body fluids.
Let me just
So-
interject and say
You've
you
been doing-
already did drink each other's
Yeah.
body fluids. If you want to
Exactly.
say you have to drink each other's urine or drink each other's fill in the blank, but you already did drink each other's body fluids. So
Yeah. I mean, what does she think that blood is? It's a fluid.
What does she think that cum is?
Yeah! I mean, really.
Ugh,
They've done it many
I'm just
times
starting
already.
to get a
They could
little
just do
bit
that.
more nauseated.
My eyes widened and jaw dropped at the thought of that. What is it? Is that a random comma or is my screen just dirty? No,
It's
that's a random comma.
Neither worries me.
But we were reassured that it was perfectly harmless. No, it's not. Drinking pee is bad for you.
Well, actually,
Especially someone
I mean,
else.
The only reason you should drink pee is if there's absolutely no clean water and you
Or if your bear
absolutely
grills.
have to.
Grills.
I mean, to be
look-
honest, it shouldn't actually harm you if you have a healthy system.
Or if you only drink
And-
a little bit, but
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't make a habit of making it your primary source of sustenance because it will not be able to sustain you in the long run.
Oh, now
Because-
you tell me.
well, that's why you haven't
mean,
been
there's a lot of-
feeling good.
Oh,
There's
Jack.
like uric acid and certain other substances in it, as well as liquid waste. I mean, but it is sterile when it
Yeah.
comes from the body, so it can be used in a pinch, and
it's
it
like
can be used recreationally, I suppose you could say. But you
I mean,
you really shouldn't base your primary source of
Yeah, it
hydration
should be a
on
last result.
Well, the one thing people say, they sort of tout it incorrectly, and they're like, urine is sterile. I'm like, yeah, it's sterile in a sense, but urine, purpose of urine is to flush toxins from your body. That
That's right.
urine contains toxins, even if it doesn't contain like viruses or bacteria. It's still not good for you.
Well, it's something that in small quantities, just like I said, recreationally, for example, if that is
Yeah.
something you enjoy, it's not generally going to hurt you if you make sure that your system is healthy,
I,
drink a lot of water, make sure it's not something that's just like you've been holding it for like 2 days and you ate a lot of asparagus or something. It's
Oh my god, dude.
you don't want
Please
that.
do.
Welcome to Bad Fan Fiction Theater, where Hoochie gives you advice on how to drink your own piss.
But
Try to
really,
make sure
don't
you're
do
not
this
for reals,
unless,
'cause
like,
if you are, you're probably in
you're
trouble.
about to die.
Well, it's not going to kill you, most likely. In fact, it would be very difficult to kill yourself.
Yeah, I mean, drinking urine is not likely to be lethal. It's actually terribly unlikely, but you can still make yourself sick.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
Again, which is why you should only do it as a last resort.
Yeah, like
or
not
unless
necessarily.
unless it's just something that just like if you're really into it and you want to try it or something like that, go for it. Knock yourself out, but don't
Can we
do
stop
a lot of it.
talking about this?
Well, considering that we haven't even got into the part where they actually
I
drink
know,
it.
Actually,
but
no,
still.
We literally can't stop talking about this because it's yet to come.
Well,
Okay,
the
well, I'll
faster we
read-
get through it, the faster we can get over it.
Pretty
Okay,
much.
Kassie, would you mind then if I read the next paragraph after you're done? Since it's something you don't particularly like anyway. I'm going to get angry at it, but...
Sure. Where was I? Eyes widened and dropped at the thought of that, but we were reassured that it was perfectly harmless. I looked at Link, and he nodded in agreement. I didn't say anything, I just looked at Link. He placed
yeah, he
his...
nodded in agreement, because he does this a lot on his adventures,
Yes.
You
He
get in
placed...
a temple or something, you can't get to a good stream or a waterfall or a pond or anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact, he rather enjoys it.
He placed his hand on mine, and a wash of comfort ran over me. I nodded.
That's called a golden shower.
Yes. I nodded. I nodded that I was ready, and we were handed 2 small cups and told we had to urinate in it.
I was just thinking, the fact that they keep having to look at each other for comfort and nodding at each other, it tells me that they're actually terrified. They're just sort of like constantly looking to each other for reassurance. It's like, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this.
If you see this on any sort of show or something, like if 2 people keep looking at each other every time they're told something, it makes you think these people are not really very comfortable. In fact, they're not really certain. They're not certain, so they're looking to each other to see, are they doing this? Are they okay with this? Maybe I'm just overreacting. Are they okay
called
with
peer pressure.
Yes. But I mean, clearly just looking at the other person to see if it's okay,
Yeah. Well,
here we go.
your turn.
Literally. It was hard to do what was requested, but as I did what I had to do, a small feeling...
You don't have to do anything!
I know, also I would like to point out that even if you're into it, something that someone does in the privacy of one's own bedroom, it's kind of different when you're being surrounded by people you don't know.
Being surrounded by ostensibly holy men.
Yeah, I mean, and peeing is one of those things that some people just have a real problem doing in front of an audience. Also, I would like to say, I don't know if this author has ever tried it, but when you are female, it's not always so easy to, it's not quite as easy as it is with a male to aim.
Yeah.
So there would have to be some sort of...
Well, I'd imagine she'd hold the cup right up against her and pee, but...
Splashback everywhere. Everyone's just getting soaked.
I was thinking of that.
Well, it depends on...
Remember, Hushcho, you have to cup it.
Yeah.
But
this has brought a new level of wrongness to that comment.
And yet it's relevant.
And yet it's relevant.
Oh, good.
Oh, wow. Oh. a small feeling of uneasiness tingled inside me, as it would when you're peeing for an audience of strangers, naked and pregnant.
Wow.
When I sat back down, also that should be something that has something to do with this, because the urine of someone who is pregnant can be quite different from someone who isn't.
Can I just bring up, by the way, this just occurred to me, but like they never said after they did the whole bloodletting grossness, they never said they like covered or bandaged their wound. So they're pissing into their open space.
Ouch! Ouch! Oh my god!
Going to all land in the cup, and they're holding the cup, and it's just like,
Oh,
They're using their other hand.
ow!
Well, they still have to grab, or at least in Link's case, he still has to grab and aim.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
I mean, granted, I guess he could leave the cup on the ground and pee into it, but
But then it might turn over, though.
Well, we don't know what kind of cup it is.
is.
It might be a very sturdy cup.
Come on, monks in the wilderness telling you to get naked and pee in a cup. How sturdy do you think they have, guys?
These
This is a two-handed job.
are actually like just stoners who are like, I wonder how much we can tell them to do and get away.
Exactly. That's what I've been thinking this whole time.
How much stupid shit do you think they'll do before they just leave?
I don't know, man. I thought they were gonna balk at the bloodletting. I don't even know anymore.
it's like, well, we upped it to
actually...
peeing in public, so let's see if that works.
Oh man, tell him to drink it. Tell him to drink it. Okay.
God.
They'll
really
totally leave. They'll totally leave. I'll bet you anything that
Oh
they
my
won't.
god, they
Oh my
did
god,
it!
dude, they're drinking it.
Oh god, dude, I didn't want to watch that.
Oh my god. Like, his hearts are going down, man.
What can we think of next?
God, I don't even.
Oh, how
I
about
don't wanna-
bondage? How about
Oh my god,
bondage?
he's putting it in the bottle just to take some home for later.
Shit, dude, the drugs have got to kick in sooner or later. Then we can get the hell out of here and leave them here in the wilderness naked.
Yeah, we can totally rob them. Just take their clothes.
And their weapons and
This
their
guy has
horses
a big-ass sword and an
everything.
ocarina. Let's take those too.
They've got this really cool flute thing. Have you tried it? I played like 5 notes and like time ran
I
back
smoked so
5
much
minutes.
crack out of that ocarina, man.
It's like, yeah, no, let me try that ocarina. He gets struck by lightning.
He plays it and then he looks around and he's in Hyrule Castle. He's like, whoa.
Whoa. Suddenly he's just surrounded by 25 cards.
And then King Zelda is like, what the hell are you doing, you motherfuckers?
Wow, yet again, a story that we've come up with is still much more interesting.
I'd rather read this. Like, stoner or surfer dude, like, ends up in Hyrule Castle. Like, how's he gonna get out of this? Or does he get out of this? I would rather be reading that than this.
Circle of life, dudes! How the fuck is that
Oh,
the
that's
circle
totally
of life?
rad, man.
We cut to a scene like hours later and like Lincoln middle of nowhere and they're like, we shouldn't have done it, and she's like, shut up, I'm still seeing motion trails. And then it cuts back to Hyrule Castle and like Zelda and the king and the monk dude are sitting around passing a bong and they're just like,
That's
man,
what
you
I was
know,
thinking they should be doing.
The king's just like, so I assume your mission was successful.
dude. Anyway, back to Annie
now that I think
Sprinkles.
about it, she's doing all this while she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been saying.
Yeah, but she's also now drinking urine while she's pregnant. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be good for the baby.
Nothing about this is good
for the baby.
Nothing she's been doing has been good for the baby.
Yeah, pretty much
And,
nothing
of
that's been
course,
done.
Even the healers know what's good for the baby, so why should she?
Good
Pretty
point.
much nothing that's been done has been done with the baby in mind in any way.
Yeah, it's just
Which
like
is-
no one actually cares about the child. They just care about this breeding fetish.
Yeah, that's exactly what my problem is with it. They don't really care about this child. They don't care about bringing another life into the world. Oh, it's a miracle. Oh, this wonderful thing within me. Here, let's take it through the desert in midsummer and cut ourselves and drink pee.
Hey,
That's a
Ganondorf,
great
here.
idea.
That
In
is
front of a
Like
bunch of strangers,
in
I'm
the Sacred Realm, like Ganondorf, here, have some company.
I swear, Ganondorf is just watching this from the Sacred Realm, and he's like, oh my god,
Yeah,
this
I
just
guy...
lost this guy.
Realm, he went to the Scared
Guys.
Realm, remember? We
You know what?
visited him when we had that talk about Labyrinth. He showed up and then was like, hey guys,
You
what's
know-
up?
You know, Gandalf needs to show up now and go, "You shall not piss."
and then swings his 100-foot penis around
Yes,
and
and
smacks
swings his
people with it.
thing.
That's what the punishment Jenna needs.
Everything about this is terrible.
Yes.
God. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts.
When I
Just
sat-
finish that.
When I sat back down, because what were you doing? How were you peeing if you were standing up?
She just like stood up and just
Well, actually,
slammed
I
the
would
top.
think as
like,
a
between
girl,
her
she'd
legs.
get on her knees and again put the cup right up against her so she could easily pee into it. But what do
Well-
I know? I'm only female.
Exactly.
It's like, here, let me teach you a new term. She put it right up against her crotchimus vertex.
All this speculation is just wonderful. I've got to say.
Yes, the
Who knows?
speculation of
Jenna-
how did they pee with their hands cut. Were they standing? Were they sitting? Did they kneel? Did they aim? Did somebody have a penis that they weren't supposed to?
Well, like,
I'm pretty
Like,
sure she
seriously.
actually does, and we just
we
don't.
need
know
to
about it.
actually. We should like write a freaking essay on this. Like professors
I
around
know.
the world will
It
be
would-
fascinated by this.
it'd be like a documentary, how did they pee? It's like from the book Depository, the urine sprayed this direction, but at this angle.
Follow us on this magical journey as we track the steps that the hero of time and Jenna, the Mary Sue from God knows where, took in blah blah blah. Who cares?
She became number 1 in Hyrule by being number 2.
Uh,
Her rank as concubine failed when she married.
but it's like only in this group of people could we, start likening how to pee with the JFK murder.
What?
What?
I was talking about
Yeah, he was like likening it to the Texas book depository,
book
which
Depository, the angle.
is- which is where the shot was supposedly fired that killed
Oh,
JFK.
I see. That flew over my head.
Same.
It's all right. We
Didn't fall
probably
with
make
JFK.
all these references that can only be really, really noticed when people listen multiple times. So people are going to have to listen to all of our shows again now. To see if they missed any jokes.
And again,
That's right.
and again. See, what we are actually doing is creating a purgatory for you fine. And by purgatory, I mean you're gonna probably throw up eventually.
Or just like the few of you who actually want the story to go on, are pretty much. Actually, I doubt any of them are even here anymore.
By the time this goes up, this will probably be episode 25 of 1,000.
This will be our magnum opus. One thing I wanted to say is I don't really understand why they're doing this, because the only thing I can think of is that there is a particular psychoactive mushroom that only becomes psychoactive when digested. So it only becomes a psychoactive substance when you pee it out. And that's the only reason why I can really see this happening here. It's so specific, just like we've said. I mean, they could have chosen any other bodily fluid or blood like they had already just drunk. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Well, when I sat back down, Link had already finished. Wow, he really blitzed it. And chipped the porcelain off. Placed his cup down in front of him. I then placed mine down in front of me, despite nobody telling you to place it down in front of you, and waited for what to do next. The head monk said a few words, mainly, "You cray-cray."
Yeah, really.
Okay.
Like, dude, I never thought you'd actually do that. Oh my god.
They actually did it. Oh my god. Then we were told to exchange the cups and drink from them.
You know, for some reason, I'm thinking of Sister Act and Sister Act 2.
What?
Because I don't know why. Because, you know, just because we're talking about monks and stuff and about people doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, and or people putting them up to it and for some supposed ritual or something. And I don't know why, but I'm just for some reason, I guess because Mom was watching that movie. And I'm just, for some reason, thinking of Sister Act 2. Like of if the nuns doing some weird thing.
I've got one thing to say to that. I love him, I love him, I love him, and so I'll drink his pee-pee, his pee-pee, his pee-pee.
I don't get it, and I'm sad.
I barely get it, but I think
Link went first, and I watched as his face twisted slightly as he drank from the cup. Then I took my cup, slowly lifted it to my lips, and crinkled my nose.
My face would twist slightly. I think it would twist a lot. Maybe like, ugh.
You know,
Do you really have to do this? Well, no. Fuck
it's one
you.
thing. It's one thing if you're actually into it and doing it willingly and know what you're getting into, but it's quite another thing if you're being basically coerced into doing something like this and you don't have an interest in that. But I mean, she obviously does have an interest in it, so why couch it in something that you pretend not to like anyway? Why even do it if you don't get anything out of it? It's stupid. That would be like me doing a painting with poop when I hate poop. You know, it's not something that I want to do. But if I wanted to do it, I certainly wouldn't write a story about how much I didn't want to do it, but did it anyway.
And then also, I just want to say, do they really have to have a monk, like a whole ceremony to do this? Why couldn't the monks just be like, well, first you have to cut your hands and press them together, then you got to pee and drink each other's pee, and then you have to do this other thing that's about to come up, and then you have to have sex, and there you go.
Well, because you see, Jenna needs an audience.
I guess.
I think that's what
I thought you were going to say because Jenna needs an orgasm.
Well, she needs
too.
that too, obviously. I think real life Jenna needs an orgasm, and I think that would have maybe prevented this from happening, but you never know.
It probably hasn't, considering it probably happened multiple times while this was being written.
Actually,
Probably just delay the inevitable.
Sadly, you're probably right. Then I took my cup, slowly lifted it to my lips, and crinkled my nose as I drank from it, which is great when you're nauseous and you're drinking something you don't want to drink.
And then she projectile vomited all over the place.
As we've said before, maybe not the best time to do this ritual is when you're pregnant.
Really? Lord.
A sour taste was left behind after I finished, which is really not exactly accurate.
Yeah, everyone knows it tastes like strawberry cream soda.
Strawberry banana coolers.
Next, we were told to close our eyes and hold hands. What, are we going to sing Kumbaya now?
Yes.
Drink pee. Sing Kumbaya.
Drink my piss, my lord.
See?
Drink my piss.
I mean, seriously.
I don't think God wants us to do that.
I'm pretty sure she's right.
Hey, this is some sort of bizarre pagan ceremony. Who knows? Who knows who's looking down?
So that entire... I don't know. Whatever. I don't care anymore.
Hawkeye has reached Caleb levels of I don't give a fuck. Let's just keep going.
He's all out of fucks.
It's like...
My garden of fucks is barren.
Behold, the field where I grow my fucks. It's adjacent to Peach Hands.
And Caleb's across the street, and Blue's way over
We
there
are
at the mountain.
experiencing a drought at the moment.
I'm all out of fucks. I'm so lost. Never mind. The monk began to chant in an unknown tongue. Well, it wouldn't be
This
unknown to him,
story
would
is
it?
bullshit. Why did you marry this stupid woman? You should not have done this. I don't know why Caleb's rocking back and forth with her hands up like she's tomahawking or something.
Oh my. So the monk began to chant in an unknown tongue, which doesn't make any sense because if it was unknown, then how could he be chanting in it?
I think perhaps she means
To them.
unknown to her, but that's just
Well, a
a
lot of
guess.
things are unknown to her, so.
Yeah, a lot of things are unknown to her, which causes me some slight resentment. Some
Slight in 50
slight.
air quotes.
Yeah, slight resentment.
Through
You
your
can
gate.
see me doing the little finger quotes.
Yes.
As he chanted, I felt a presence around me. No, that's just the drugs kicking in, darling. That happens to everyone. Something like a spirit, but I was not quite sure. How do you know?
I think you're just drinking spirits there, darling.
I think so too. I think this was the mushroom pea thing. A warm feeling filled inside me.
Well,
Like
of course
being
it
next to
did.
your
You drunk pissed.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what they were drinking before then, so you kind of wonder. And I felt at peace, felt a calm. Then I could feel Link again, felt his body against mine.
Oh, come on. Oh, wait. They're not actually doing it. Okay, fair enough.
Jumped the gun, did we?
Yeah. A little bit. Maybe a little.
Even though our hands were the only things touching.
For now.
For now. Probably not for
But
long.
only
but...
for now.
The feeling made me happy inside, made me feel closer to him. I hoped that the feeling would never end. I opened my eyes, stopped chanting, and he was then in front of me, naked, his huge, bulging member in front of me, ready to...
And then all the
And it
mates
had the
picked me up
Triforce
and had
design
violent
tattooed on
sex
it.
with me.
Okay, but seriously.
All the monks had the Triforce design tattooed on it.
Oh, God. That would be, once again, another thing that would be more interesting in this story.
And it was wonderful as they jizzed all over my face. And
It
I
was
shook
the
it
most
off
beautiful-
my body like water droplets in the sun.
My beautiful body. It was the most beautiful thing that they had ever seen.
Even though
I
they
look
were
like
ugly
Jack
old
Frost.
men monks, I've had sex before, because apparently all monks are virgins.
I opened my eyes and the monk had stopped chanting. And he then explained that there were 4 separate bonding rituals.
Then what were you doing now?
Yeah, it's just like, wait, these don't count,
We're just fucking
apparently.
with you.
We're just
Seen if
fucking
you
with
do
you.
it.
I can't believe you did that shit. Now let's do the real rituals.
Wouldn't that be great? I would love it.
It would be.
That would
And
have
of course, that's why it's not in the story.
Of course.
Each to bond us together in every aspect of our being.
In every way.
Oh, wait, there are 4 of these.
Together with you in every way.
Wait, so there are 4 of these. Do you want to split them up by each one, by seeing how there are 4 of us here?
Yeah, let's just, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting challenge. Mentally, spiritually, physically, and sexually. So I'll let you guys take the first pick since I suggested it.
I'll do sexually.
Well, that one gets really long though. The sexual one, I
Is
have
it?
a feeling we'll
Let me
start
have a look here. Let me scroll
taking
down.
turns again at that point because
Uh,
there's like
sexual
8
bonding.
paragraphs.
Sexual bonding. No, it's not too terribly long.
That's like 8 paragraphs. That's like 2 rotations. I mean, but
I still don't mind. I'm just saying.
It's like you
What we
knew
could-
that
what
the
we could
sexual one was going to be by far the longest.
But it's also probably the most boring and safest out of all of these.
Sure, sure it is.
Just keep telling yourself that, darling. It's okay. It's okay.
So,
What we could do is just
Just
someone
read
can do the
normally,
mental.
maybe?
Well, we could do that. Someone could do the mental bonding, and then we could just each take a paragraph for the physical and spiritual. The spiritual has 5, but the last 2 are short, so someone could do
Right.
just those 2. And then for the sexual, we can just do as normal, because God forbid one of us take that. It's just,
I really don't mind.
it's, oh my God.
Okay, so wait, what did you say for the second 2?
What I said is somebody could take mental bonding, and then we could just read physical bonding as usual. And then for spiritual bonding, someone could take the last 2, but we could otherwise read as
Well,
usual.
it's a mental, spiritual, physical, and then sexual. Is that the order they go in?
Yeah,
yeah.
First it's mental, which is just one big paragraph, and
I'm
then
gonna
it's
go
physical.
mental,
No,
dudes.
wait. Mental. Oh, wait, no, wait. That's physical? Okay, yeah, I'm in the right
Yeah,
place.
see, of course, mental is the shortest paragraph.
Yes, of course. 'cause
Exactly.
We don't want to think too hard. We're just here for sex.
Talking of Jenna's vacuous skull, I mean, there's just not that much to go with. So, shall I begin?
Well, shouldn't
sure.
we finish this
Well,
sentence first?
yeah. Completing
Oh,
each
right.
would bond us in an unbreakable bond.
Oh,
Wait.
Redundancy.
So there were 4 separate bonding rituals to bond them together in every aspect of their being. Number 1, why is sexually different from physically?
really?
Number 2, what was the ritual that they just did related to?
It was a
Was it
ritual
really just
fuck.
them fucking with them?
It probably was.
That's what I'm
Like,
going with.
seriously?
Well, I could
This-
understand if somehow we established that it was like an opening ceremony kind of thing to
Right.
combine
Yeah,
each
but-
other both with blood and piss for some reason. Like you needed those steps before we actually proceeded to the core rituals. But,
These are just a test to see if you'll do exactly what we tell you to do.
yeah.
Which is pretty sad when you think of it, because it's fairly obvious that's exactly the amount of thought this was given. So that's exactly how it seems.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, let's get this train wreck rolling.
Nodded and were told what the first ritual was.
The mental bonding. There should be
Serious
like
business.
an echo effect. The mental bonding.
Sunday.
Yes. After the
See
rules
Big
were
Truck Jenna crush Link to the car.
that would be way more exciting than you're actually going to get from this story.
At the City Municipal Center. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.
Alrighty. After the rules were explained, we each took each other's hands and held them. When the head,
They were holding their hands.
yeah, still bleeding all over the place, by the way. At this point, I'm sure at least the pregnant woman would start to get a little lightheaded.
Taking serious drugs, drinking blood, drinking pee, cutting yourself, riding through the desert, God knows at what temperature.
Yeah. It's like your child is stillborn. Why? What could have possibly happened?
Like, seriously. And like, what time is it? How long has this stuff taken? They rode
Yeah.
through the desert.
Yeah, really. Jeez. I don't want to ride through the desert, and I'm in relatively good shape. When the head monk began to chant, we closed our eyes. I began to feel the warm feeling inside me again. This time it was more intense.
I felt it spray out in front of me. Completely missed the cup this time.
My mind was cleared of all thoughts, which didn't take very long.
No.
and I was left in total emptiness, like being in a void, which is
just like every day.
just like being inside my skull. There was nothing but quiet. Then the silence was broken by a distant voice. You're a dumbass.
It said, "You're not funny. You suck."
As the voice came closer, I could tell that it was Lynx.
Yes,
Link
that's definitely
was,
Lynx.
So what you're trying to say is it was a mental link. Okay.
Oh, God, why?
I'm sorry. I'm so not sorry.
I think it was the missing link.
Yeah. Link was inside my mind, terrified. Calling out to me. I reached for him, called out to him, tried to find him.
Oh my God, I'm fucking scared. I wasn't able to speak before, and now I can speak, and I don't know what the hell is going on, and what is that?
I'm all alone.
It is a dark universe of blood and pee.
As he called to me again, his
Blood,
voice...
pee, and babies everywhere, everywhere. I'm surrounded by blood, pee, and babies.
Not necessarily in that order. As he called to me again, his voice ringed through my mind. I almost autocorrected that in my head. His inside my bones. His voice made me feel warm, made me feel secure. I did not feel alone. He was there with me. It feels like she keeps...
It feels like she just stole that from Michael Jackson right there.
Might as well have. Hearing his voice inside my mind made me feel closer to him. It's not as if we weren't touching.
How much hallucinogen have they dropped up to now? I'm wondering.
My guess is, well, they had those goblets. They didn't say how big those goblets are, but goblets are generally fairly spacious, especially if they're, like, you know, ritualistic.
Very true.
So I'm thinking that basically you've got a cup that's halfway full of drugs that react upon contact of blood and urine. And they're
Sounds good to me.
They are just tripping balls like they downed a bottle of expired Robitussin.
You know what would be... Tripping balls would be better than this.
Tripping over my balls would be better than this. I felt as if our minds were connected. I felt as if we're one.
This is clearly the greatest mental bonding of all time.
Yes, the greatest mental bonding of all time.
Your mind to my mind, my thoughts to your thoughts.
I'm doing all the heavy lifting here, I can tell right now.
I'll bet that's what Spock thought every time.
Exactly.
Every damn time he's like, well, it's time for me to do the heavy lifting, damn it.
Exactly. As I searched for him, his voice seemed like a flame. Oh God, burn! Why?
Please burn her, burn her, burn her!
She's a witch!
I felt its warmth, then saw its light.
That's the wrong "it's" unless you mean "it is." I felt it is warmth. I saw it is light.
Which also sounds like Michael Jackson lyrics. But, hey. I reached for it, called to hit, watched as the flame danced. Link's voice. Man, you really are just... I moved inside the emptiness, tried to reach for the flame, tried to reach for the flame. Yeah, that's about right, if you're talking about Link. Tried to reach... Da-da-da-da. But no matter how hard I tried, I could not reach him.
Wait, this is all a mental bonding. So is this basically a metaphor for her, like, having nothing in her head? Like, it keeps talking about a void and shit?
That's how I'm interpreting it myself, so, yeah. I could not reach him. Then the flame flicked out and Link's voice became distant again until there was but silence.
This is totally her. This is totally her mental. Sums up her mind completely.
Yes, yes. Inside Jenna's head is only butt silence.
Exactly. I can't breathe. Oh dear Lord, that's just too funny. See, the void closed around me and I came back. I felt at home once again. I opened my eyes and looked at Link. He was just as wide-eyed as me. Then I smiled at him before returning attention to the monk. He was at full mast.
He looked at us and told us that we've both failed.
You failed. Do it again.
Look, you've got to have something in there for bonding to take place.
Gandalf came out of nowhere with his 100-foot penis, and he's like, "You shall not pass."
Try again.
He looked at us and told us the mental bonding was complete. He also told us to get the fuck out.
And then,
embed P-brush.
P-brush.
Oh,
Okay.
So that's what they're doing with all the leftovers.
So what I'm getting from that is there's actually something after that paragraph for the listeners that says embed P-brush, which leads me to believe that at some point somebody tried to embed an image file from Paintbrush, which was, the old paint program. That's what it was called in the earlier versions of Windows. Which actually helps age the story.
I'm just going to say that I'm going with Blue here and saying that's probably what they did with the leftovers. They embedded a P-brush.
Yes. Embedded a P-brush right up there.
So I guess you did the mental bonding. I guess I could take on the physical bonding since...
Yes, let's get physical.
Let's get physical.
Physical. I wanna get physical. Let's get into physical. Let me hear your body talk.
This is still better than the story.
Yes, we should just release an entire album of Hoochie Show singing. That would be 1,000,000 times more interesting than this.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible for anyone but the author to be horny after this.
Sadly. What's terrible about it, and this is actually my problem with a lot of stories, is, even if I may not share the kinks and fetishes and interests and whatnot, you can still, with effort, make something at least understandable for another audience and let them know why you like it. You can build it up in an erotic, sensual way that if it does, even if it doesn't, get them off or turn them on to something new, they may be able to go, you know what, I understand what that's about now. But it takes effort, and pretty much all of the stories that we've read, they've had these little things in them that are obviously interests of the author, but they either have to try and couch it in something that makes it seem like they don't like it seem as unerotic as possible. And it's like, if you've got a passion for this, if you've got a fetish for this, you should work a little bit harder at, trying to convey what appeals to you to someone who's reading your stuff.
Yeah.
But they never do.
Yeah, it's like
Why don't they
implying she
look?
gives a shit.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'm beginning to wonder, is it really wise? Like, I recommended Sonic and Search for Love. As this is going on, I'm wondering, is it really wise that I even mentioned it? Because I can think of, at least for most of the complaints, a part in that story that does at least what you're saying worse. Other than really the mentality when writing it, from what I've generally seen.
I just always think it's so regrettable when you have, something you just seriously enjoy, and you're not giving it any effort really to make any other audience interested in it, or even find it as interesting as you do. You're just not trying, you know? It's just, it's sad because it's something that clearly means enough to you to write sexy stories about it, but it's just like I was saying earlier, it's like having the punchline without the joke.
Pretty much. Like, the strange thing is I'm kind of noticing she doesn't even like focus that much. It's weird because like it seems like when you're expecting there to be sex, there's not. But when you're finally letting your guard down, it's all of a sudden her horrible tiger section's back.
Tiger sex.
It mentions like the word tiger several times when they're going at it. So
well, she always makes cat-like sounds.
exactly that. So. And I believe it says tiger-like at one point. It just evolves into tiger-like. So,
apparently she doesn't know what cat-like sounds actually involve.
Is she just saying meow the whole time or something?
I don't know, but if you've ever heard cats having sex, you will know it's not a very...
screeching. Oh my god.
Actually, it would be more interesting just to hear her sing Nyan Cat. Like, just say, I started singing the Nyan Cat theme, even though it didn't exist yet.
Started singing Nyan Cat. I was quickly beheaded by an angry link.
And Ling was like, not in my bike, you're a bitch!
I feel so sorry for Link.
I know, right?
Yeah. It still seems kind of odd that she would even change him enough to give him dialogue in that case.
On one hand, I could say, well, it would be difficult to tell a story with a character as crucial as, for example, Link, who does not ever speak in the games, without actually giving him some dialogue.
Actually, that would be so much more interesting story if he couldn't speak. Like, the romance developing without any verbal communication.
Well, see, that would take effort. But what I mean is,
that's really hard, and that's clearly not something she's...
But what I mean is, on one hand, I want to say that it would be difficult for most writers to...
Yeah, it really would be.
...story without Link speaking. But then on the other hand, she doesn't ever tell us anything useful in her dialogue anyway. Most of the time she describes what they say, so there wouldn't really be anything lost if he couldn't speak. Because he never says anything of note anyway.
Essentially, if he just nods and communicates through gestures, it would have been the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been exactly the same thing, because anytime anybody says anything that has any meaning or significance, she just tells us that they said it. She doesn't tell us actually what they said. She just says it was said and then is done with it.
Yeah.
That would be kind of funny if someone like rewrote this and had just Link nod and see how much shorter it would be.
Link communicates entirely and
No, not even that. Just gestures. Like, he nods and then you just cut out the stuff that's redundant.
Yeah, cutting out all the things that are redundant would really pare down the story.